guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with another Frankening video of my palette. I'm actually going to focus on both these palettes today. I'm mainly going to Franken from this one again, which was my main palette which I Frankened last time. As well, I only have one shade left in the Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm very determined to finish that up in the next month. So I'm going to try to Franken a little bit of this one to be able to use it up in more ways. But that is going to be the video today, so I'm gonna just jump into the video itself. It's not going to be as extensive as last Franken video. I'm only going to do 3 things. But before I jump into any of that and what I'm going to Franken, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So it's been a while since I Frankened last time. Last time I made all of these Frankens here. Ignore these two, they are in different projects, but these here are Franken. As you can see, I've been using them quite a bit, especially the top 3 here. I am gonna Franken this one today into something different, but before I do so, I think I'm gonna just add a little bit more of this transition shade here, which is a mix between Mila and Plot Twist, because I like that shadow a lot. It's a very nice transition shadow, and I feel like I want more of that so it can last me throughout the year, and I think that's going to be an easy way to use those 2 shadows up. So I'm going to make a little bit more of that Franken, and just honestly use Franken on top of this, because since I dry press anyway, I should be able to do it on top of that shadow. So that is the first thing I'm going to do, so let me jump into that. So I'm going to start scraping a little bit of each of these. I think that should be good with Mila, so let's go ahead and scrape some of Plot Twist too. I think I'm honestly gonna have to use a lot of Plot Twist. I might even use most of this up, to be honest, because I don't use this much in other looks, but it does work well with the Mila. So let's start with that. So I'm just gonna dump this on the paper like last time, and we can start the mixing. So let's see how that looks when I swatch it out, if it's too deep or what it looks like. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. It's a pretty good shadow, to be honest. I think that's going to be good. So I think I'm going to stop there and press that into the existing shadow. And just for reference, by the way, this one here next to it is the existing one and this is the new one. I think the shadows are pretty close, so I don't think it matters too much if I Franken them in the same pan. So there is the shadow. Let me use this one to press down quickly before I use my watch press again. And if you didn't watch my last video, that's how I do it. I just press it down first with this magnetic little, I guess it's just a magnet that I used on the back of my eyeshadows, and then I use this watch press to be able to press it down more firm. You won't be able to see much, but if you look on the side, it's just a watch press that I use to like press down on the eyeshadow, and that helped me press it more firmly. So here we have the eyeshadow. I accidentally pressed the little magnet on the side of the pan, so it's a little bit warped now, but it doesn't really matter in this case. I can just throw it away once I'm done with the Franken, and this one is now firmly pressed. I have tapped it on the counter to test it, and it's staying in there. So yeah, this one is done. And then we have that eyeshadow. It's now done in the Franken, and we can move on to the next thing. So the next thing I'm going to do is use the rest of Mila to create a Franken bronzer. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of Mila, a little bit of 5am, and then a little bit of Basic Truth to just lighten it up a bit. So I'm going to start with Mila, and then a little bit of 5am, like I said, and Basic Truth, and then I'm going to just use these 2 until I'm happy with the colors. So let me just take out the rest of Mila. It's going to be quite weird to have this whole pan empty, but I just know I'm going to use it better in that way. I thought first if I'm going to save a little bit of this, but honestly I have other shadows that I can use that are like this warm brown. So if I need a warm brown like that, I can reach into other things. So I'm going to start with that, and then obviously, like I said, a little bit of 5am. I'm just going to scrape it. I'm not going to take too much of this because it is more cool tone, so if I take too much of this I don't really have anything to compensate with unless I start touching these kind of warmer tone colors, but I don't want to do that today, so I'm going to start with not too much of 5 AM. And same thing with Basic Truth. Not too much because I can always add more, but I can't take away, so I'm going to take a little bit of this one and then I'm going to start mixing. So there we go, and I'm going to start by putting them out on the paper again and start mixing. So I'm going to tip it out and yeah, start mixing. So there we have the bronzer color at the moment. It's quite nice, it's still quite pigmented. So I'm adding a little bit more of Basic Truth to start. So I'm taking a little bit more, like I said, not too much, just like that. Okay, so that seems a similar color but slightly less pigmented, and honestly I think I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead. Do I need more? It's gonna be quite a pigmented bronzer, but I think I'm gonna still go ahead and press it like that because I do like the color. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna add a little bit more Basic Truth just to lighten it up a little bit more. Okay, there we are. I'm happy with that. It's even more blendable now and it's not as pigmented, so I'm gonna go ahead and press it this way. And I'm gonna go ahead and press this into this old Charlotte Tilbury powder compact. This was for the Flawless Filter powder, what's it called? You know which one I mean, it's the airbrushed Flawless Filter powder, I think that's what it's called. So I'm gonna press it in here, and I'm actually gonna use alcohol this time. So I'm gonna put the content in here and I'm gonna go ahead and add some alcohol. So I don't think the mirrors is gonna disturb you really, so I'm gonna put some alcohol in here. Let me zoom in a bit more, and then we can start putting in some alcohol in here. And I think that's good because I don't have too much, and I'm just gonna place it in the center there. So let me go ahead and use some tissue paper just to get out some of the excess alcohol. I'm gonna use this compact, which I'm actually gonna use later, and press it down further. And there you guys, we have my Franken bronzer. Not too much, I think I should be able to use this one up quickly, but it's an easier way for me to use those two shadows. So this is where it is. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it when it's dry, but for now this is the bronzer. So the last action we're gonna do today is actually Frankening a little bit of Love Letter. I am using this one as much as I can this month, but I'm unsure if I'm going to finish it just using it as an eyeshadow, and I really do want to get it done this month because we are going to be halfway through the year once this month is up. So I want to franken a little bit of this as a blush, and we're going to use this eyeshadow obviously, and then a few more shadows from here. Actually, maybe it's one from here. We'll see how it goes and what kind of color I can get. And then I'm actually also going to use a little bit of this blush, which I'm using in my rolling point pan. This is my Coralista blush. I'm going to franken a little bit of this just to give it a bit more of a sheen. So I'm going to start by scraping out a little bit of Love Letter. I'm going to try not to make the pan much bigger. Hopefully I will be able to finish this one up anyway this next month, but just in case, I don't want to necessarily expand the pan. So I'm going to scrape a little bit of this so we can use it as a blush. I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to scrape out some more later if I need to. You know what, I'm going to scrape a little bit more because it was hard to see how much I got, but I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more just so we can use a bit more for the actual blush. And yeah, that's much of a thinner amount now, and I think, yeah, with the amount that's here should be good for the blush. Then next up, I'm going to go ahead and scrape some of this blush just to lighten this up as well as give it a bit of a sheen, like I said. And I'm just working my way around the edges just again to not expand the pan too much, or actually at all. And I'm going to mix this up to see what it looks like, and we might add some stuff from my main palette if I need to, but I'm just going to see what this looks like when they are mixed. So let me just see. Okay, that's actually quite nice. It's like a plummy blush. Is it too pigmented though? You know what? I think it's quite nice, and it has like a bit of a sheen to it, and it's not too pigmented. I'm gonna add a little bit more of Coralista, and I don't think I need to add anything from my palette actually, or like the Makeup Tutorials palette, because I think this one has lightened it up enough, because I was worried about Love Letter being too pigmented, too like bruised looking on the cheek, but this one has kind of minimized that appearance, I would say. So I think it should be fine once I have added in a little bit more of Coralista. There we go. And as per my other Frankens, whenever I use this blush, I'm going to count one use from this and one use from Love Letter, just to be able to track the rest of my panning. But yeah, that is kind of my idea. So let me just mix these up again and we can press. So my camera battery died, so in the meantime I actually went ahead and pressed the blush. It turned out like this. Not too much in there, but I think I should be able to use this up hopefully in the next month. It's like a nice, I swatched it out again, so this is the previous one before I added a little bit more Coralista, and this is it now, and it's not as pigmented, and it's like a bit more, slightly less like bruisey looking, I would say. So I'm really happy with it, but it's more of a, I don't know, like plummy blush, and I'm really excited to use this actually. It reminds me a little bit of like Mood Exposure kind of thing from Hourglass, like a plummy blush. But yeah, I'm really excited with these two, and again I'm gonna let these two dry and I will be back to swatch them when they are. So here we have the final Frankens. I think they are dry enough now. So the bronzer is still quite pigmented, but I think it's gonna work. Let me show you a swatch. So this is it right here. It is definitely quite warm tone, but I think it's going to be nice for summer. And yeah, I'm excited to use this. It's going to be way easier than doing what I have been doing, which is mixing 5 AM and Mila on like my streaks as it is. But I obviously, since they were very pigmented eyeshadows, they were very difficult. And yeah, I need a lot of blending. But that is the first one, which is the bronzer. For the blush, let me build it up a bit. This is how it turned out, and again I think that's quite nice. Honestly, I think that's going to be quite easy to work with. I almost regret not frankening Love Letter earlier and using it as a blush, but I think that's going to work quite nicely. and I think these two are going to work nice together. I think they're going to give variety in what I'm panning. I'm not panning a specific bronzer at the moment, so that's going to be easy to use. I am panning both that Coralisa blush but also my Dior blush. However, this is different, so I'm excited about that. But that is it for my Frankening. Obviously I have these two and then the eyeshadow. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And otherwise, I will catch you on the next one. Bye guys!